the story of this wonderful woman of faith. Her name is Joni Eareckson Tada. Joni, when she was 17 years old, she was an athletic kind of woman. One day, she was diving with her friends and sister. Dumive siya from a cliff. Pagbagsak niyang ganon, hindi niya alam, mababaw pala yung tubig. So pagbagsak niyang ganon, she had a terrible accident. Alam niyo nangyari? Tinamaan yung isang vertebrae sa kanyang spine and she got paralyzed from neck down. Hindi niya magalaw yung legs niya, hindi niya magalaw yung arms niya, and she was diagnosed to have quadriplegia. Quadriplegic, hindi siya makagalaw. Ang gagamit niya lang, ulo niya, nagaganon niya lang. The rest, hindi niya masyadong magalaw. She couldn't move her legs and hands. The only thing she could move was her head. Yun lang. You know what happened? During this time of problems and weeping and suffering, she got into depression. She came to question God, but at the same time, her depression led her to Jesus. Her depression led her to a personal relationship with God. And in the middle of her devastation, dun na bago yung buhay niya. And because of that, anong ginawa niya? May problema? She stood up, held her head up high, wiped her tears, and said, "What now? Let's move on. Let's keep fighting." Ang nagagalaw niya lang yung ulo niya. And you know what she did? In her wheelchair, she learned how to write by putting a pen in her mouth. In fact, she was painting using her mouth. Pakita natin. Pero hindi pa natatapos ang storya ni Joni doon. Joni Tada has preached in 47 countries, written 50 plus books, and she runs a global ministry for the disabled. All done by a quadriplegic. And she is a motivational speaker as well. You know what is so faith-building about her story? One time, Joni was asked, pakinggan nyo ito, sabi sa kanya ng interviewer, "If you could live your life all over again, would you want to walk?" Sagot ni Joni, it blew me away. Sabi niya, "Well, perhaps at one time, I would have leapt at the chance to run, skip, and jump. But now, seeing my life and many years later, I see God's wisdom in allowing my diving accident to occur." You know what happened? Ito pa, hindi pa natapos yung ordeal nito ni Joni. 46 years she had quadriplegia. I think mag-50 years na nga. And you know what happened? A few years ago, she's also diagnosed with breast cancer. Grabe, parang kung meron mang taong napagsakluban ng langit, parang siya na yun. But you know what? She told us this story. During this time, she was having a chemotherapy with her husband. O, pansin nyo yun, ha? Mga single dyan. Yung quadriplegic, nagkaasawa pa, may pag-asa ka pa. Pansinin nyo yun, ha? While driving from their chemotherapy session, her husband and Joni were talking about suffering. And then her husband told Joni, sabi niya, "Suffering is like little splashovers of hell to wake us out of our spiritual slumber." Ganun daw yung mga suffering. Ginagamit daw yun ng Diyos, pinapatikim, splashover, tinatalsikan tayo para magising-gising tayo ng konti kasi natutulog yung spirituality natin, yung relationship natin kay Lord. And while they were talking about it, sabi ng husband niya kay Joni, "So, if sufferings are little splashovers of hell here on earth, what do you think splashovers of heaven are?" Ang ganda ng tanong. Sabi ng husband niya, "Our splashovers of heaven are those easy, breezy, and fun times where everything is going your way, wherein you have great health and you have all the money, wherein everything is going well for you." You know what Joni said? Pakinggan nyo ito. She said, "No, I don't think so." She said, "I believe splashovers of heaven are finding Jesus in your splashovers of hell. And to find Jesus in your hell is ecstasy beyond compare. And I won't trade it for any amount of walking in this world. Joni's life wasn't fair. Bakit siya na-aksidente ng ganun? Bakit tinamaan pa ng breast cancer? But thankfully, she knows and believes that her problems does not have the last say. God has the last say. And it is very, very, very good. I don't know where you are right now, brothers and sisters. Maybe you're experiencing splashovers of hell in your life right now. But I pray that while you are going through your hell, you will see splashovers of heaven as you embrace God's will, as you see God's hand moving in your life. Trust that God is with you. Trust that God will have the last say. Keep fighting. Keep moving.